Right, close the door. Good morning. How did you get on yesterday? Busy day, pervaded by pre-Champions League, pre-Europa League, and pre-Europa Conference League. Spot the upsetters. Good result for Liverpool. 1.44. Another trading side with Palace scoring first and the usual late show. And Mohamed Salah scoring. He hasn't scored for 2 games. Harvey Elliott coming on, getting the winner. So really good. Again, the red card making a huge difference. Really big difference. So it's 1-0 lead for Palace. Care of a penalty. Very gettable. Very gettable indeed. Particularly given the reputation for Liverpool for coming from behind. They're probably the better side in the Premier League for that stat. Simple trade. Keep the faith. You backed them at 9-1 last week. Excellent stuff. Brighton and Burnley. Got a Burnley opening goal. Took that on. Brighton, both teams to score, 100% record. 100% record at home of a goal before half-time. We started drip laying this in the half-time market. Now, it doesn't matter who scores when you get involved in the half-time market. First half goals, a possibility here. Or, you take a neutral play. So you would have laid the draw here in the half-time market or backed over 0.5 goals. In any case, a nice profit. Doesn't matter who scores, does it, if you're taking a neutral position like laying the draw. So a really good play, this one. Drip laid the draw, odds of 1.25 and lower. So we've got ourselves a nice return. I think about 6 or 7 to 1 return just for that single goal. 100% record of a goal at least before half-time in home matches. 100% record of both teams to score this season. Brighton, solid as a rock. Man United, well, I did say in the live chat, it's a pre-Champions League and it's a must-win match for Manchester United. It's going to be a distraction. Regardless if you're putting out the solid side that played against Chelsea. He pretty much did, all bar Martial. But you're playing a Bournemouth who are scoring 2+ goals regularly and will be sniffing an upset given the distraction of that match with Bayern Munich next week. Must win for Man United. So this is the time to get Man U. What a pity they didn't score first. Laying over 1.5 goals, backing Brentford +1 would have got you a 90-minute play out of this without any reward. It would have been a break even. Wolves equaliser. 100% record under the new manager of scoring in every single match. Nottingham Forest score first after a run of 2 matches failing to score. Are they really going to score a second consecutive goal, you ask yourself? And the answer is no. Nice result, that. Aston Villa and Arsenal. See Aston Villa v Man City as the template when they play the big boys at home. An extraordinary record for Dick Emery and Aston Villa. You could have laid over 1.5 goals back to Arsenal +1 because you'd have got a really good run for your money from the arse throughout the match. But they just couldn't cross the line. So that 1-0 would have been covered. John McGinn, goal machine. France, Ligue 1. Red card affected late for Monaco, but they were already leading by then. Paris Saint-Germain, no problem with them. Pre-Champions League against Nantes. Was there a 1-1? Indeed there was. So you could have possibly laid the late draw here if you fancied Paris Saint-Germain. But the gloss tends to come off these major sides pre-Champions League. As is shown here, this is absolutely inexplicable. It was a loss for me. It's going to be one of a rare breed of losses. But this came from left field. I don't know why Bayern Munich underperform. They don't need to win against Man United next week. Again, absolutely no reasoning for such a battering and such an unbelievably poor performance. It's almost as if this was fixed. I hate to say it, but there's no other way to describe this woeful performance. It's not pre-Champions League curse because they don't have anything to play for against Man United. They're already done. They're already qualified. So this goes down as a loss. It's just one of those things. came from completely out of nowhere. And it's very reminiscent of their opponent, Man United's 3-0 defeat as well. Heinheim and Darmstadt, Desmond 2-2 late on. Union Berlin and Mönchengladbach. Well, I did mention 2 weeks on the trot now. Union Berlin have been favourite and they've not lost. Draw and a win. So the markets, looks like the markets got them right at this stage of the season. Werder Bremen and Augsburg. Nice result for Werder. Freiburg getting a goal if you laid the draw second half. I would have laid Freiburg late on here because Wolfsburg have that 2+ goal habit, but they didn't turn up yesterday. Pre-Europa League for Freiburg as well. Dortmund and Leipzig, big style derby match. Not going to play that, 2.4 the favourite, but up to you if you wanted to play. If you see the red card, the reaction to the red card was huge. Leipzig all the way down from 2.4 to 1.4 favourite, which I thought was a bit of an overreaction. But, well, it took an own goal to open the scoring. Baumgartner, great name. 1-2, 1-3, and then 2-3. So, made the red card count eventually. Up to you if you wanted to play that or not. Verona and Lazio, well, talk about Mystic Meg. In the live chat webinar, I said, because this is pre-Champions League for Lazio, if it's still 0-1 at 70th minute, lay them. Because by delaying to the 70th minute, you're going to get lower odds and a lower liability. Off we go. Mystic Meg. Mr. Henry turns up on the 70th minute. Obviously, didn't read my telegram. I said after the 70th minute. Henry. Lay Lazio. Low liability. They could be vulnerable. Which was indeed the case. Lots and lots of red cards yesterday. I don't know what was in the water. Atalanta AC Milan, another derby-style match. So we had 2 derby-style matches yesterday. Very competitive, weren't they? Inter Milan, Udinese. Job done for Inter pre-Champions League. Easy as you like. This is what we expect. Now, did the goal come pre or post 20th minute? There we go. This is how you clean up with short-priced favourites. If a 1.25 favourite at home is 0-0 after 20 minutes, we're expecting goals before half-time. Back, 1-0, 2-0. Any unquoted in the half-time score market? Is this any unquoted that can get you a double-figure return, 12-1 in the half-time market? This is a rare look at a side delivering after the 20th minute, delivering 3 goals. You'd have absolutely cleaned up. The 20-minute rule, I call it. It's all, you should be familiar with it. I go bang on about it all the time. Ajax have turned a corner, haven't they now? Starting to pick up wins. Almere City, always gettable. Failing to win this season so far. What a pity they didn't score first. And in La Liga in Spain, Real Madrid and Betis. Well, Guy at the light out webinar did lay the draw second half. It was an obvious play, I would suggest, given the amount of centre-forward talent on the pitch. And I arguably should have laid Real Madrid if they scored first, given Real Betis at home have been pretty solid. But if you laid the draw second half, the right team scored first, draw odds rise markedly. Good result for Mallorca, 2.55 the favourite. Very rare win against pre-European club competition, Sevilla. Austrian Bundesliga. Well, Rapid Vienna were threatening. Last Linz, we got that come from behind win. If you went match odds, you would have cleaned up here. Really solid result for Lask Linz. A bit of a risk, of course. Pre-Europa League is the reason why any of these sides underperform. And far too many of them underperforming this weekend as conclusive proof to you that the Champions League, the Europa League as well, has a major impact on performance pre-match, particularly in Man United's case when you've got a must-win coming up against Bayern Munich. Dinamo Zagreb, simple act of laying the late draw, based simply on this, 1.08 odds. Now, this is a typical pre-European club competition performance from such a short price favourite. But they got the goal, lay the draw odds will rise hugely. Because the right side scored first, the 1.08 favourite scored first. So that's nice and simple. Lay the second half draw. It's a technique all on its own. You can just employ that and have a profitable season. English Championship. The odds-on favourites initially are starred. Norwich were disappointing. They performed like odds-on favourites, but they just couldn't cross the line with their shots stats. Rotherham and Swans, I did put this forward for you. Possibility of taking on that Rotherham red card, which indeed proved fruitful. Could have laid the draw second half for the Saints. They did score first. But 2.4 the favourites suggested Watford given a chance, weren't they? Elsewhere, English League One, a bit quiet there yesterday. I didn't have any strong angles in English League One yesterday, but a hell of a lot of red cards throughout, wasn't there? Elsewhere, a lot of postponements in English League Two. FA Trophy, no liquidity really in the Betfair markets for the FA Trophy. In the Bundesliga 2, again, the red cards throughout. Hertha Berlin took advantage of the Kaiserslautern red card to get themselves a 1-2 win. Very precious win for the relegated side, Hertha Berlin. A relegated side a few seasons ago, Hamburger, couldn't take advantage, but were red carded after the Paderborn red card, the Paderborn lead. Poor stuff from Hamburger. St. Pauli, tend to see 2 goals in the St. Pauli match, but again, just stumbling at 1.33 favourite and allowing Makridis to equalise for Osnabrück late on. There were a number of other league matches throughout. Any other plays? I'm not too sure. Not initially. Let's have a look on Sunday. La Liga Portugal. Again, pre-European club competition. Sporting Lisbon making it 3-2. Porto getting the win against Casapia. Again, look at the odds. Look at the scoreline. 1.25 favourites suggests 3-0, 3-1. Any other home score and at least a goal before half-time. There we go. That came pre-20th minute. But again, 3-0, 3-1. Any other home score. That's what you expect of a 1.25 favourite. We're looking on to today, and there will be some Champions League sides still playing today, but they're most likely to be playing Champions League football on Wednesday, not Tuesday, of course. Everton and Chelsea. Well, Everton continue their mission to pick up points, and they're doing a good job of it. They've picked up 2 wins and a loss so far, 6 points out of 9, with that amazing win against Newcastle midweek. Another win against Nottingham Forest. That's 6 points in the last 6. That loss against Manchester United was a pity. But that is an emphatic win against the pre-Champions League Newcastle. So it's a time to get them, albeit it was midweek. So against Chelsea today, you can't dismiss Everton. It's a different kind of a setup now, isn't it? Now you have to accumulate points. So all I can do really is look at Chelsea post that 10-point deduction, because there may be a change in team tactic from Sean Dyche. Not the new usual 1-0 merchants, but just get that second goal, get that win. Chelsea are all over the shop. Very unreadable side. Win, draw, loss, win, loss. Sorry, draw, loss, win, draw, loss, win, loss. Recently, both teams have scored in 7 out of 8 matches. Recent wins against Tottenham and Brighton. Again, localised wins. They're very near to Chelsea. It's a messy match. You can't dismiss Everton with 2 consecutive wins and that 10-point deduction, meaning they've got to go for the win. There's no pussyfooting about anymore. Fulham and West Ham, as you will know, this is a London derby, and London derby matches could be anything. Both teams have scored in West Ham's last 7 away matches. No win in 7 at home for Fulham. It's 12th against 9th. Fulham have no win against the top 11 in playing 9th today. West Ham got a good win midweek. Leave this to the in-play stats. It's as simple as that. It's a London derby. It's 2.4 the favourite. Luton against Man City. This is a match of context. Manchester City with no win. I think it's in 4 now, is it? They had 3 consecutive score draws. So contextually, they're meeting Luton Town at the right time. But this is a time to take on Man City. Even if they lead, the odds are going to be ultra low. It's been very tight for Luton against the top 9 at home. They've had a 3-4 defeat, a 1-1 draw, 0-1, and a 1-2. So they do keep things tight. So watch out for that. 8 out of 9 goals scored at home have come second half for Luton. 8 out of 12 goals conceded at home have come second half. So this match is looking like it's going to be a strong defensive display from Luton Town, trying to keep it 0-0 at half time, but eventually capitulating second half. That could be how this one plays out at 2 o'clock. 3 score draws and a 1-0 loss for Manchester City. This is what I call a redemption match. Has a very good strike rate, these redemption matches. It's where you've been having really poor form. You meet the right team at the right time to get back on the winning track, and you tend to oblige. So watch out for that. The usual assumptions against pre-Champions League for Man City shouldn't stop them. It's that no win in 4, which should ensure the win. Tottenham against Newcastle is almost flirting with being a derby-style match. Champions League on the 13th of December for Newcastle. This is a Newcastle who are really struggling away from home. 2 draws and 2 defeats away from Newcastle, worryingly conceding 2+ goals, as they did midweek against Everton. I didn't see that coming. Pre-Champions League as well for Newcastle. That's going to be a huge distraction, and away from home, eminently gettable. Spurs are on a poor run under Ange Postecoglou. They have scored in the last 15 matches and last 7 at home. They have scored and conceded in the last 6 matches, and that's not what you want against the Geordies. 5th against 7th, so it's a top 10 clash. At home against the top 6, Spurs have beaten 2nd and 6th and lost to 3rd. At least one team has scored at least 2 goals in all Tottenham home matches, so watch out for that. 2 draw and 2 defeats for Newcastle, as alluded to, conceding 2+ goals away from home. That is a really poor foundation coming into this pre-Champions League Premier League match. Newcastle have only beaten 20th away from home. 62% of goals in Newcastle matches have come second half. So again, if it's 0-0 at half time, then you got carte blanche, I think, to lay that draw second half. It's a match seeing Tottenham desperate to end their woeful run, and Newcastle desperate to end that really poor away run, which is costing them. They're dropping down to 7th place. In La Liga, Atletico Madrid against Almeria. This is an Almeria, I believe, with no win this season. This is a pre-Champions League Atleti. 10 clean sheets this season, though. 7 consecutive home wins. No draw in 12. It doesn't seem that the Champions League affects Atletico Madrid just yet. But Almeria will be desperate to get their first win of the season. But are they really going to beat Atleti today? Well, now is the time to get these big boys pre-Champions League when they're distracted. Granada and Atletico Bilbao, 1.67 the favourite. Not too in-depth research here. Only 1 win for Granada all season has us naturally favouring Atletico Bilbao. Away side have only lost to the top 6 away from home. And they play 19th today. 2+ goals expected for Atletico Bilbao, who tend to have look reliable at the right odds. 2.45 the favourite Osasuna against Cadiz. You'll learn as you go on. Those kind of odds suggest it's too tough to call. No point researching pre-match. Leave it to the in-play stats, or just leave alone completely. 2.45 is telling you it could be anything. 1.44 Barcelona, on the other hand, is telling you to favour the home side, despite this being a top 3 clash. So I've seen these kind of odds before. Manchester City twice. 1.67 against Aston Villa. 1.22 the week before and losing. So 1.44 Barcelona pre-Champions League against second in the league is utterly dismissive, and I will take it on, particularly if Barcelona lead here. Both sides have only lost to Real Madrid this season. This is very dismissive of Girona, isn't it, by the market? It's Barcelona's reputation coming into this. Any chinks in Girona's armour, though? Well, a 1-1 draw against 5th and a 1-1 draw against 6th. As for Barca, 1-0 wins against 4th, 5th and 6th. So 1-0 scoreline, it's not suggestive of a 1.44 favourite. I think Barcelona are gettable. Pre-Champions League, playing a top 2 side who are having an exceptional season. Very dismissive of the market. I'm happy to take on the market here, as I did in Manchester City's last 2 matches. Italian Serie A, Frosinone against Torino. 3 consecutive home wins now for Frosinone, unbeaten 6 at home. They like it at home. They have scored and conceded in the last 7 matches, though. 2+ goals scored in the last 3 at home. So it's a good foundation. 12th against 10th. They're unbeaten at home against 6th and lower. Will fancy themselves today, Frosinone, but the market's giving Torino a chance. 2.20 favourite. Torino losses have all tended to come against the top 9, so they will be fancying it themselves against 12th. It's a very tentative market, this, but you've got to respect Frosinone's home form. It is excellent, but it's been rather dismissed by the market makers. We will see at 11:30 who's got it right. Monza against Genoa, 2.05 for Monza. Only 4 defeats for Monza. Looking really good. 3 of them came away, and their sole home loss was against Juventus. Both teams have scored in the last 5 matches. Monza are unbeaten home and away against 9th and lower, and they play 14th today. Only 4 wins for Genoa. 5 losses in 6 away, so they're really poor on the road. Monza in decent nick. I would just give them a slight nod, given Genoa's tardiness on the road. Salernitana against Bologna. Well, Fiorentina took 3 points off Salernitana. Only 1 win for Salernitana came against Lazio. That was, again, a pre-Champions League mugging. They've conceded in the last 14 matches. Opponents do tend to score first in Salernitana matches. They'll fail to score in the first half at home. They do tend to score second half. Only 2 defeats from Bologna. Only 1 away loss, but no win. 5 draws away from home. Far too many draws. Salernitana might be gettable if leading, if Bologna keep drawing. Roma against Fiorentina. 5 consecutive home wins for Roma under the special one. They did score and concede in the last 2 home wins. 6 wins in the last 8. Really good nick. This is manager of the month stuff for the special one. Roma have scored in all home matches. This is a top 6 clash, so just be a little wary with that. It's pre-European club competition for Roma as well. That might signal a slight dip in form or a distraction. 11 Roma goals scored at home came in the last 15 minutes. They are very good finishers. So watch out if Fiorentina have a slender lead, 75th minute onwards. 5 defeats for Fiorentina, 2 consecutive away defeats. Those were 1-0, so they do keep it tight in defeat. So if Roma score first, there's a possibility to take them on. Fiorentina have lost 3 out of 3 against the top 3, but did beat 5th 1-3. They're playing 4th today. Intriguing. But I would subtly favour Roma, but the Europa League is the Achilles heel for them today. Stuttgart against Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. This is a very interesting market, isn't it? 2.20 the favourite, Bayer Leverkusen. Dortmund stopped them from scoring 2 goals. The only side who stopped Bayer Leverkusen from scoring 2+ goals in the Bundesliga this season. Dortmund. Stuttgart similarly positioned as a top 3 side. So this could be a real battle for Bayer Leverkusen today. You wouldn't suggest their usual 2-3+ goals. Stuttgart have been in excellent form. They're yet to meet the top 3 though. They have scored 2+ goals in all of their other home matches. Stuttgart scored 12 goals in the last half hour at home, so watch out Bayer. They could have some bite to them later on. 5 out of 6 goals conceded came first half, so Bayer Leverkusen could make the breakthrough in the first half. We do expect goals with Xavi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. This is pre-European club competition for them. It is a top 3 clash. This is the kind of match where Bayer Leverkusen might slip up and not score that second goal, as we saw against Dortmund. 2.2 the favourite. It's given Stuttgart a chance. Köln and Mainz at 4:30. Again, 2.20 the favourite. Don't like it. Messy match, 2 out of form sides. Don't forget, as a trader, you have the power. You can pick your matches. The market makers have to put up every single match and have to give odds to every single match. You don't. You can pick your battles, and that's where you will profit from picking the right matches. French Ligue 1 today as well. Nice 1.91 favourites at home. Lille odds on favourite away from home. Lyon are actually odds on favourite at home, but they're near the bottom of the league, having a woeful season. Playing pre-Europa League, Toulouse, who lost against Liverpool, you'll recall, in the Europa League. Le Havre, newly promoted, are away at Strasbourg, not given a chance. The previews are available at soccer24.com and uk.soccerway.com. I don't research French Ligue 1, very, very competitive league, but I will trade it in play. The Dutch Eredivisie, newly promoted Heracles are away at Vitesse Arnhem. Fortuna Sittard odds on favourite today. Go Ahead Eagles and Utrecht 2.2 the favourite. It's a messy market. The odds are messy. I will quite happily follow this in play. Austrian Bundesliga, I would always caution you to take on newly promoted sides. BW Linz, Blau-Weiß Linz are actually odds on favourites at home today against Swarovski Tyrol. Are they going to be vulnerable? Well, follow that at 1:30. That'll give us 2 o'clock for the live chat webinar. I'll be able to follow these matches for you. Sturm Graz, 1.65 favourite. In the Belgian Jupiler League, the matches keep coming. Club Brugge, 1.57 favourite away from home. Genk, with a K, odds on favourites away at Eupen. Anderlecht odds on favourite at home to Standard Liège. I thought that match was on yesterday. I recall seeing that match yesterday, unless I was imagining things. Charleroi and Union Saint-Gilloise involved in Europe away from home. So a good coupon in Belgium. I'll be following that one with interest throughout the day for you. Croatian HNL 1 League. Well, you saw Dinamo Zagreb limp to a 1-0 win pre-European club competition. How about Rijeka, 1.25 favourite a bit later on. Pilsen and Slavia Prague, the usual short-priced favourites at home in the Fortuna League in the Czech Republic. Lyngby, odds on favourite in the Danish Cup against Fredericia. We should see goals in that match. Women's FA Cup, likely to lack liquidity. Indeed, the Coupe de France as well. We're not going to see any of the big guns out. But we've got Bergerac out. The Jersey detective is playing a Panazol, which I take for my headaches, at 12:30. Bundesliga 2, 12:30 start for that as well. Dusseldorf and Elversberg odds on favourites there. So plenty of peripheral league football today. No Greek Super League today, which is a pity. We've got some of the big we had some of the big guns out today. Maccabi Haifa, Maccabi Tel Aviv, talking of big guns in Israeli Liga Ha'al. Maccabi Tel Aviv look to be very reliable this season. Famous last words, of course. Maccabi Haifa, 1.3 favourite at home, to be welcomed at 6 and 6:30. I'll be following those for you throughout the day. Elite Serien, second round. Vålerenga emphatic in the relegation playoff place. This is what they got their win for at the end of the season, to have a chance at staying up in a relegation playoff. They hold a 2-0 advantage. Christian Sund must come out and score the first 2 goals, but they're not favourite today. Vålerenga 1.36 favourite to get the job done with home advantage. Remember, Vålerenga got that lead away from home, so they're in a really good position today. Lech Poznan and Legia Warsaw in Poland, well worth following. We had all the big guns out yesterday, didn't we, in Portuguese Liga, because they're all involved in the Champions League. So we won't see any familiar names really today. So it's a good old coupon. Celtic are 1.36 favourite away at Kilmarnock. Rangers conceded first against Dundee yesterday and got it all job done by half-time. 3-1 win by half-time. 1.36 for Celtic is a little lukewarm as far as looking at a win before half-time, but we will see how the match develops. It's pre-European club competition for Celtic as well. Spanish La Liga 2, we'll just get a cursory glance throughout the afternoon, as will the Super League. A couple of odds on favourites at home in Zurich and Lugano, but not extremely strong favourite. Basaksehirspor, Kayserispor are taking on Pendikspor, newly promoted Pendikspor at 1 o'clock. Our natural inclination is to take on newly promoted sides. Eyüpspor, Turkish Yorkshiremen, 1.17 favourites at 4 o'clock. And have been performing like odds-on favourites throughout the season. Top of the league, I believe, in Turkish 1 League. The Turkish Yorkshiremen, Eyüpspor, fantastic, took great, lovely stuff. Hovis, bread, fantastic stuff. Tetley tea bags, aye. Nora Batty, fantastic. So watch out for Eyüpspor at 4 o'clock. Could be banker material. Really good coupon today. There will be a live chat webinar at 2 p.m. If you can attend it, please do. And we're going to have to tread very, very, very warily with these pre-Champions League sides, aren't we? Manchester City, it's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination away at Luton, but contextually, it's a redemption match. 3 draws and a loss. Got to get back on the winning foot, particularly with Arsenal losing yesterday. You'll note, Got to take advantage of that. So I'll see you from 2 p.m. onwards. I'll see you from probably midday onwards on the chat feed. Everything will be available for you at Footballtradingprofits.club. I'll do a deep dive spreadsheet for you as well. I thought yesterday was excellent. It just pinpoints, doesn't it, these deep dives. So I hope you're making use of them. Here's how I would use a deep dive spreadsheet. Immediately, when I put all of the different angles in chronological order, it gives you a kind of a print for the day, where to start. Start with Crystal Palace Liverpool, all the way through to Mallorca Sevilla, pre-Champions League for Sevilla. So that will have alerted you once Mallorca scored. Do we really take on Mallorca today? Inter Milan, for example, led at half-time in 6 out of 7 home matches. Inter Milan banker, so I'm expecting them to win. Udinese consistently failed to score 2 goals, so automatically, if Udinese score first, you head on over to this deep dive spreadsheet and have a look through. We did that with a couple of matches yesterday, and they were really useful. Now, this is heading into half an hour for the chat, so I will call it a day now. I will see you 2 p.m. for a live chat webinar and earlier throughout the day on Footballtradingprofits.club. Have a great day, and remember the curse of the Champions League.